how did Klay Thompson go from being the least controversial co-star of all time to all of a sudden being the most hated player in the NBA? Well, stay tuned to find out, because it might not be what you think. First, let's start from the beginning and talk about why he was so loved during the Golden State Warriors dynasty days. The story of Klay's rise with the Golden State Warriors began on draft night in 2011 when the Warriors, with the 11th overall pick, selected the sharpshooter out of Washington State. And he was a very good player there, for those who don't remember. As the seasons unfolded, Klay's college game evolved. His sophomore year saw a significant uptick in his scoring, as he averaged an impressive 19.6 points per game. It was during this time that the basketball world started to take notice of the sharpshooter from Washington State. His smooth shooting stroke and ability to score from anywhere on the court made him a matchup nightmare for opponents. Klay's junior season solidified his status as one of the premier players in college basketball. Averaging 21.6 points, 5 rebounds, and 3 assists per game, he led the Cougars with his smooth all-around game. But little did the Warriors know that the unassuming pick would evolve into one of the most beloved figures in the franchise's storied history. From the moment Klay stepped onto the court in the blue and gold, his impact was felt. He possessed a silky smooth shooting stroke that seemed almost supernatural. Klay's game was a reflection of his personality, cool, composed, and utterly lethal when it mattered most. His shooting exhibitions became stuff of legends, with playoffs becoming an annual tradition, a time when fans anticipated his extraordinary performances in the postseason. Man, how times have changed. But it wasn't just three-pointers that made Klay a fan favorite to the Warriors faithful. It was his selfless nature, his commitment to the team, and his ability to thrive in any role without any huge ego. While some players demand the spotlight, Klay was content to shine within the framework of the team. He embraced his role as a splash brother alongside Steph Curry, forming one of the greatest shooting duos in NBA history. Off the court, Klay's affable personality made him a favorite among fans and teammates alike. His dry sense of humor and laid-back demeanor made him relatable to a wider audience. Whether he was participating in local charity events, engaging with fans on social media, or simply enjoying the California sun with his beloved bulldog, Rocco, Klay's authenticity made him that guy among basketball fans. One of the defining moments of Klay's legacy occurred in Game 6 of the 2019 NBA Finals. With the Warriors facing elimination and injury sidelining key players, Klay put forth a heroic effort. As he drained three-pointers and played tenacious defense, an unfortunate injury halted his brilliant performance. Yet, despite a torn ACL, Klay walked back onto the court to shoot his free throws, which made the respect and love he had earned through the years go through the roof. But after he returned from all of those injuries, such as the torn ACL and the Achilles injury, not only would he never be the same performance-wise, but his image among the fans started to go downhill as well. You see, it all started on October 25th, 2022, when in a game versus the Phoenix Suns, he and Devin Booker got into an altercation where he started flexing his 4 championship rings. And for some reason, it just rubbed fans the wrong way. Many fans thought he was living in the past, and it just wasn't the time to do that since they were losing to the Suns and ended up losing that game by 30 points. It showed insecurity from the former champion. It's sort of like when an influencer or even a musical artist gets into an online dispute with each other, and instead of having a normal argument or debate, they instantly talk about how much money they have or how many followers they both got. And to us fans watching, it turns you away because that has nothing to do with the situation at hand. Plus, it makes the viewers think that they think they're above everyone else just because they have more of something than the other person. And that's kind of the same thing with Klay. Everyone knows the Warriors had one of, if not the best dynasty of all time, so there was no need to rub that into Booker's face. Booker just wanted to compete in that game with a little friendly trash talk, but Klay made it something more by trying to disrespect Booker with the 4 rings. I don't know, maybe I'm just soft or whatever, but I just know that if I were playing a basketball game and I got into an altercation with a player from the opposing team and they started flexing something that happened years ago, that would be kind of odd. But alright, enough of that. On March 23rd, he would do the same thing again. This time it was against Dylan Brooks. He flexed his 4 rings in yet another loss where they were blown out. This just amplified the Klay hate for the same reasons we just went over within the Booker situation. And the fact that this was Klay's go-to in heated situations said more about him than anyone else. And getting backlash for those moments are expected. But one thing about today's era, if you're gonna do things like that, you have to back it up. up. Because if you don't, then the entire media and basketball fan base will be all over you with quickness. And honestly, I hate that it's that way, but that's just the times we're in. Remember when Dylan Brooks went on his whole poke the bear campaign against LeBron James, and he said that he won't respect LeBron James until he drops 40? Well, when the Lakers knocked the Grizzlies out of the playoffs, the entire media and fan base made Brooks a meme. Media members clowned him, and we all know social media had a field day with the memes and the comments. So once Klay stepped out of that beloved he can never do wrong spotlight, that put him under the negative microscope, which is when every game you play or even every decision you make off the court will be watched closely and talked about. If Klay goes 2 of 13 in just one game, thousands of comments will say he's washed, and media platforms like First Take and Undisputed will talk about how he should be traded and stuff like that. You guys know what I mean. The worst thing about being under this microscope is even when you play good, you'll get no credit for it. And I know some of you are probably thinking that NBA players don't care what the fans or media members say, but in reality, they're humans, and they do. Don't let them fool you. It's impossible in today's times to go a while without seeing a hate comment or seeing a glimpse of a clip from First Take about Stephen A. Smith bashing you on national television. And when looking at this 2024 season, it's safe to say he won't, or at least shouldn't, be flexing his 4 rings. Because, as you know, he was benched this season. To make matters worse, he was replaced by a rookie, and not a rookie like Victor Wembanyama or Chet Holmgren, who plays like an all-star, but a rookie in Brandon Podziemski, who is a good winning player, but it's just so odd seeing him ahead of Klay on the depth chart. Luckily, Klay hasn't let this get to him, and he's even publicly admitted that it's hard to go from a key contributor to getting benched. He said this: "At the end of the day, winning trumps all." Yeah, are you kidding me? To go from one of the best players, it's hard for anybody. I'll be honest with you, it's very hard. I'm happy for these young guys, honestly. And yeah, we won. It's hard to get wins in this league. Yeah, he's right. We saw the same thing recently with Russell Westbrook to an even stronger degree. Westbrook was an MVP, the triple-double king, someone who once averaged 31, 10, and 10. Now, over the past couple of seasons, he's been a bench player. However, Klay Thompson hasn't been bad at all this season. He's averaging 17 points while shooting 42% from the field and 37% from the three-point line. And over his past 7 games, he's shot over 43% from 3. He is still a high-quality player. When you factor in attempts, Klay Thompson is literally 5th in the NBA in catch-and-shoot threes percentage, only 2 spots behind Curry. So I understand he isn't 2016 Klay, but let's not act like this man still isn't one of the most dangerous shooters in the NBA. And defensively, he may not be a lockdown anymore, but he still provides good size and IQ. And to his credit, he has admitted on Paul George's podcast that he was wrong in the Devin Booker situation. He said this: "Yeah, I was in my feelings though, and Book was busting my ass that day. I was not where I needed to be. God, you know stuff doesn't age well, and that didn't age well for me. I don't need to be flexing 4 rings, bro. Like, everybody knows that. That's on Wikipedia. My game wasn't where it was at, and we all get insecure at times." If he wants to change the whole negative aura around his name, he needs to go and hoop at a high level, which is something he's been doing as of late. The Warriors currently aren't in playoff contention, so it's hard to tell if he'll have an opportunity to reverse the narrative surrounding his name in the playoffs. So do I think Klay really deserved all of the hate? Of course not. But do I understand it? Yes. The hate definitely isn't as strong as it was last season. But with how bad the Warriors have been as a team, it might only be a matter of time until tempers start flaring in Golden State, and Klay Thompson might say or do something that'll put him right back into the spotlight for all of the wrong reasons. But what do you guys think? Does Klay Thompson deserve the hate he gets? Let me know in the comments down below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.